My name's Albert. I just wanted to make this short video real quick for people who might be worried about their kids getting addicted to fentanyl or drugs in general, or don't really know anything about drug addiction and don't really know how to teach it to other people or help them not get caught up in it. But yeah, I was addicted to Oxycodone back when it came out, and doctors were just flooding it to everyone in Florida. All my friends were dying. It was bad, but it seemed okay because it was legal, so no one thought too much of it until everyone started dying. Then all of a sudden, it was gone. All the doctors were gone. Years later, all the doctors were gone. You could barely get Suboxone or methadone, Subutex. You couldn't get any of that stuff anymore. Everyone was either in rehab or at a detox halfway house. But people don't understand, like, drugs, they will break you. They will break you down as a person. You become a number. You become a statistic. You're shit. You become that homeless guy at the gas station talking to himself, and no one wants to be that person. And no one wants to blow all their money either. No one wants to blow all their money on drugs every day and be sick still every day. Worried about cops, worried about getting robbed, constantly going down to the ghetto, fucking with people that you don't want to fuck with normally. And the sickness is insane. These new fentanyl pills came out. I had 13 years clean, and my girlfriend left, so I got depressed, and naturally I'm an addict. I went for drugs and found them easily, and got caught up with these new fake Roxy, and they're mostly made out of fentanyl, I guess. They're coming in through, I guess, from synthetic fentanyl from China, coming in through Mexico and the cartels to the United States. And I noticed that all my friends who are addicts are disappearing again. All the ones that had clean time are gone, and I'm starting to think that they're dead. They probably got caught up with fentanyl pills too. They were so cheap at first. They were literally a single digit to buy a pill. But you would get withdrawals that same day. You do a pill, you're gonna be dope sick within an hour or two. And that wasn't the way it was like with Oxycontin, Oxycodone, Percocet. And the sickness is terrible. It makes the COVID virus seem pleasant. Your skin crawls. Your chest feels like an elephant standing on it. All you can think about is getting them sick. You don't care who you hurt. You don't care how much it costs, or if it's bad, or the consequences aren't shit compared to the sickness, so it doesn't really matter. It's worth risking anything, risking your whole life, risking going to jail for the rest of your life. It's terrible, and I think kids should understand that drug addiction isn't like the DARE program where they come into school, say don't drink. Marijuana's gonna make you go crazy. Marijuana, I moved out here to Colorado to get away from Florida and the pills, and to come work out here at the weed grows, and it was helping me. It was great. And then I relapsed. And it was terrible. And I didn't want to tell my mom. I was embarrassed. I had to. She could see how sick I was. Didn't matter at that point anyway. I was out of money, so it was over either way, even if I didn't want to stop. But I wanted to stop. Who doesn't want to stop? Everyone wants to stop. That's all the junkies talk about is, I need to stop this shit. This shit's killing me. This shit's taking all my money, and it's ruining my life. And it's making me sick every day. Sweats and cold chills and just cravings and just fatigue where you can't even move, but you can't sit still either. the first 3-4 days you just literally shake it out, sweat it out with a fucking blanket, and you just lock yourself in a room, delete every contact to get anything. You have to delete the entire structure that you made to get these drugs. You had to delete everything to make it as hard as possible to get them if you decide to. Again, which is most people will. So quitting already, I quit. I've tried to quit oxys many times back in the day, and did quit for a year here, 6 months there, you know, and then finally, you know, I quit for good, and I thought it was forever. I was on Suboxone, probably gonna always be on Suboxone. It's a lot of people say, "Oh, you're not clean if you're on Suboxone," but it's like, yeah, I know, you know, I know I'm not clean, but I'm also not on fentanyl, and I'm able to go to work, I'm able to make money, and I'm able to be a normal person, and it comes through a legitimate legal doctor, pharmacies, covered by insurance, Medicaid. So don't feel bad about getting on Suboxone. If you're on opiates and you're on heroin and you're on fentanyl, you know, and you're on oxys, that's the worst you can be. That's you at your lowest. Even though you feel like you're flying high and you're doing good, and as long as I got my pills, you know, as long as I got my pills, that's all my life's been about. Always. It's just, you know, as long as I get my pills. It's sad. I'm 35 now, and, you know, 10 years ago I was 25, and I was 3 years sober, or 3 years clean from oxys and heroin. And it was so easy to get. My father had prescriptions long before I got them, and he helped me get mine, and it was all legal, and it was all through legal doctors, and he always got double the amount I got, and I never understood it, because he has Crohn's disease, but, you know, I have pancreatitis and rheumatoid arthritis and slip discs and all that, you know, so it was always harder for me to get more. I always asked the doctor every time I went for more. I'm basically more just addicted to more. That's the kind of addict I am, where it doesn't matter how many I have. I'm gonna probably do all of it that day, maybe save one pill for the morning, because that's just the way I am. I just don't stop. Once I start, I just don't stop. I can't stop. That's the problem with addiction. You can't stop until you die or go to jail, or worse. But this shit ain't no joke. This shit makes marijuana look like water. I mean, cigarettes, you know, are bad for you. Way worse than marijuana ever will be. Yet they're legal. Marijuana's still not, technically. So this whole country's got it backwards, and they probably know the truth, and I don't think they care. I don't think they care about any of us. I don't think they really care about the junkies in today's society. They're just thrown away in the garbage, you know, sitting 5-10 people just sitting there on the side of a building by a gas station. All of them tattered clothes, homeless, broke. Most of them are getting in fights, getting robbed, all sorts of terrible shit, raped. A lot of people's girlfriends start selling themselves because they don't have anything left to sell. You steal everything from your families, your friends, you pawn everything. You do anything for a fix, because it's torture. It's the worst torture a human being can know. I feel like that. It seems almost like a deadly weapon from another country. It's like a silent bomb. They send it here, it spreads like a virus. People start synthesizing it for themselves, making their own. The people who are smart do it, or people who just want to make a buck, you know. Everyone seems to be selling them and doing them, and that's all life becomes, is selling them and doing them, or just finding them, or finding stuff, or getting money, or asking for money, or panhandling, or sitting there holding the fucking sign saying God bless. And no one wants to be that person holding that sign. It's awkward and it's sad. Every time I see someone holding a sign, I can relate to them immediately. I'm basically the same person. I got 11 days now. I'm 11 days off the fentanyl pills, and it was nothing new to me. I know all about this opiate addiction and the withdrawal. I know all about it. I've lived it for 20 years longer, and it's the worst thing in the world, and it ruined my life. I took any chance or any hope of having a normal life, or normal, I mean just, you know, happy without drugs, making money, going to work, not sick all the time. And it sucks. The pharmacies look at you like you are a junkie, and which you are, and most of the time they're right when they're telling you that you're refilling your prescriptions too early. But you don't want to hear any of that shit. You just want your pills. It just comes down to that's it. You just want your pills. You want to go get as much as you can, come home, turn the phone off, lock the doors, you know, lock the windows, black them out, and just sit there and do them alone. And you feel happy. Life's easier. You don't worry about anything but pills. You don't worry about bills. You don't worry about money. You don't worry about jobs. You don't worry about where you're living. You don't worry about what you're doing. You don't worry about relationships, or if your girlfriend's out selling herself, or, you know, you don't worry about the drug dealers and what they put in these pills. These pills aren't regulated from a pharmacy. These pills are made in someone's fucking apartment somewhere. They make thousands and thousands of them, and then they put the M30, the Malincrot 30 milligram Oxycodone stamps on these pills, but they don't look like the M30s. The M30s almost looked white to a real light blue, and they were thicker. And these look like the Oxycodone 215s, the blue ones, the real dark blue ones that were small, real small. And you can tell these are fake because the stamps are never correct perfectly, and the pills are never the right size exactly. And every single time you're playing Russian roulette with fentanyl, and you don't know how much is in that pill. And that's why most people, you hear all these overdoses on fentanyl so much. It's these people don't understand that these pills are made with fentanyl and random shits, ketamine, fucking meth, coke, maybe anything. Mostly probably vitamin B, mannitol, cut, you know, and then a little tiny bit of fentanyl, and then they sell them as the M30 Oxycodones, and they're not at all, and they're extremely dangerous. People are dropping dead all the time, and the town I live in, I don't want to say where, but it's taken over my town. I see it happening. When you drive downtown, you see hundreds of teenagers and people in their 40s, 50s, 60s sitting together on the side of a gas station by the trash can, all asking for cigarettes and money. They're all wearing sweatshirts when it's 100 degrees. They're sweating. They're white as a ghost. They're yawning. Their nose is running. You can see the pain in their eyes. Their emotions leave. Your emotions leave when you're on those drugs. All you're trying to do is not have thoughts, not have emotions, not have feelings. You want to feel numb. That's it. So they do make you feel numb for a time being. But you always need more. It's never enough. You never feel good enough. You never, ever will get that first feeling ever again, chasing it. And I noticed that everyone's smoking them because these pills, the people who understand that they're fake and they have fentanyl in them and shit, they smoke them because when you smoke the pill, you don't take the whole pill at once. You take a tiny little hit and see how strong the pill is. Sometimes people die holding the tinfoil still. I've seen people die holding the tinfoil and drop that first hit, one little tiny hit, and dead. And that's scary. That's scary to anyone. I don't care how tough you are, it's scary. One little hit, even if you're a seasoned junkie, and you fucking die from one little hit, it's crazy. I see people shooting them up, people snorting them, and those are the ones who are dropping dead, because they're taking the whole pill all at once, and they have no idea what's in it. Most of the time, they're always different because they come from different people, so they always look a little different, but they're mostly the same kind of shit. But they're not regulated, they're not legal, they're not even prescription, they're not even what they're selling them as, the Oxycodone 30 milligram pills. They're not that. There's not 30 milligrams of Oxycodone in these pills at all. I've seen people testing them online, finding stuff like ketamine, meth, Molly, MDMA, cocaine, heroin in these pills. Tiny bits of everything left, basically. It's like all the crumbs at the bottom of their bags, they just mixed it all up with some blue food coloring, put an M30 stamp on it, and selling them as Roxy 30s. And people think that people who take Roxy 30s back in their life before think these are legitimate, real pills from a pharmacy, and that's why so many people are dying. And I just want to make this video. I don't really make many videos ever, but I'm just sitting here in my room like sick still. You know, today's my 11th or 12th day now, and I still feel sick as I did the day one. And I'm taking Suboxone, and I've taken Kratom too, and Kratom helps too. Kratom isn't a prescription drug. It's sold at head shops. It fills your opiate receptors, and that's all we're doing. The dopamine. Human beings stop producing human beings stop producing dopamine and serotonin when they start taking pills and drugs, because the drugs will give you more serotonin or more dopamine than the human brain can produce naturally. So people are starting to get pleasure 10 times the amount that the human body produces when you're having sex or getting a massage or doing anything pleasurable. And then life becomes unpleasurable because you can't make the amount of dopamine that these pills give you on your own. So pleasure isn't in the junkie's vocabulary anymore. There's no such thing. It's gone, it's broken. The receptors are now used to getting over flooded with dopamine, and then it's gone, and it wears off. These pills wear off. These new fentanyl pills people are taking them and getting dope sick a couple hours later, where it used to be you take an oxy or you do some heroin and you'd make it to the next day. You know, as long as you got one shot, you wouldn't be full-blown withdrawing. That, you know, now you're full-blown withdrawal a couple hours after. So I mean, you're constantly going back getting more money, blowing more of your money, selling more of your shit, and going back for these little fucking pills that now own you. And it happens too fast. It always happens that way. And people who don't use drugs or opiates specifically will understand that it is a disease. People always say, oh, it's willpower and it's your choice and, you know, you have freedom to choose for yourself. But when you're feeling like you're dying or gonna die, which you will feel because that's the way these pills work, if you don't have them, your brain is not getting dopamine, anything for your opiate receptors, and it panics. It goes out of panic mode. It doesn't know what temperature to keep your body at anymore. You're up and down. You're cold, you're hot and cold at the same time. You got hot sweats with chills. You're freezing, but you're burning up. Your stomach is killing you. You gotta go to the bathroom constantly. You're yawning. You're tearing up. Your nose is drooling. You're just, and the chest pain is insane. Just this craving pain right in the middle of your chest, right in the middle. It just tightens up, and it just gets worse and worse. And all you want to do is make it stop. And the only way to make it stop is to keep using. And that's why most people can't stop. No one should have to go through something like that, especially for multiple days in a row. That's insane. The human body's not meant to feel that kind of pain. When you take painkillers, even prescription ones, all you feel is pain in the end. The pain that you had originally, your back pain or knee pain or whatnot, that you would welcome that pain back if you could, instead of being on these pills, because they take over, they consume your brain, they get rid of that back pain for a little bit, and then creates its own pain. And then your brain is always looking for a reason to use another one, take another one. So your body starts tricking its brain, the brain, to think you have more pain than you do. I think it actually increases your original pain. The back pain, the knee pain is actually now increased once you're on painkillers. And it's terrible. People don't understand it. Most people don't understand it. You know, I feel like I have a good grasp on it and what it does to people. I've seen hundreds and thousands of people. I've seen tons of people die. Lots of friends die. I've almost died. I've overdosed before, a lot. You know, people, when you're using needles, you can die from a bubble, you know. Or if you use a piece of cotton on the needle, you can get cotton fever or get really sick. And when you're sticking yourself with a needle and you're barely even conscious because you're so doped up, and you're just nodding off and waking up with needles in your arm and you don't even know if you used it, and one bubble and you're dead, or one pill that's a little stronger, you're dead. And people nowadays, if someone sells some of these fentanyl pills and someone, like a really bad junkie dies, overdoses, not a bubble or anything, but overdoses from the pill because it's too strong, that's the best advertisement for a drug dealer there is. Everyone's going to go get his pills because someone died from them, so they're like, oh man, they must be stronger, I'm going to go get those because I can handle it. You know, whoever died from it, he must have not been as addicted as me. You know, everyone's not as bad as you are. You're the worst. In your brain, you are the worst. And that's all that matters, is what you think and what you know. So it really doesn't matter if you're worse or better or whatever. If you're using, you're using. So quitting is probably the hardest thing a person can do. It's like, it would be like, you know, giving away your best friends or your kids or your mother or father or anything that you love in this world. It's like giving it away. You have to give it up. But the only way to survive without being tortured every day and just exhausted and sick and tired of being sick and tired and sick of this addiction and sick of spending all your money on these pills and sick of going down to these parts of town and seeing the worst people at their worst, and it's sad that that's where you feel the most comfortable, is in the ghetto, right in the middle of all the junkies, pills all around you. That's you at your happiest when you're using. People say that when you talk about using drugs, you get a high from talking about it, as if you were almost using. Same as if you had a dream about using it and you wake up withdrawing, or you get the post-acute withdrawal syndrome, you know, withdrawals that come out of nowhere weeks after you stopped. And they can hit you even harder than the original withdrawals. So people are just constantly relapsing, chronic relapsers. You see all these poor, like, you see beautiful girls just destroyed. You know, just beautiful girl, three weeks in is gonna have, you know, junky pics, you know, all over her face. They're gonna be scabs, and, you know, guys too, they're gonna be skinny as a starving person would be. Just, they look sick as they look sick. They look very sick, very ill. It's no joke. These people look very sick, and they are very sick. They're actually probably the sickest people on the planet. I don't know of any other way to get dopamine as much as you can get from an opiate. And if I did, I'd probably be doing that, good or bad, sadly, because I am an addict and I am addicted to opiates, and I always will be. And I'm not sure if I was technically born addicted or not, because my father was using opiates when I was born. And a lot of people in my family like to leave that part out. They like to think, oh, they're just prescription drugs, it's okay, he's sick. He's sick, so it's okay. It's never okay. It's never okay. People who use will understand me, and people who don't use probably won't understand what I'm saying, really. That's the reason I'm making this video, is because I feel like a lot of people, adults, and have children who don't use drugs and don't really understand this world, don't really know what to tell their children about drugs. They say drugs are bad, you know, drugs are bad, and then everyone, all your friends and at your age will be, oh, drugs are great, I love drugs, you know, and who knows what they're talking about, what kind of drug they're on, you know. Anything to help me feel better is gonna be what I want to do, what I want to take. But it's not about feeling better. It's about feeling in general, having feelings, living with yourself and what you've done, and being more mature and able to, I can't do these anymore. I'm broke. I need to work. I need to get healthy. You know, I'm never gonna want a relationship or anything until I feel better, but I'm not gonna feel better until I got months clean. And there's nothing worse than counting the days. I don't anymore. You do the time, You don't let the time do you. Like in prison, you don't count the days. Let it be let it be an exciting thing to find out, oh, I'm getting out of here tomorrow. You know, that'll be something nice. A lot of people say that their best day of their life was if they got busted the night before with possession, and the cop took it, threw it away, and gave you a warning. It's very rare. It happens though. I've had it happen to me, and that morning was the best morning of my life, because I was free. I wasn't in jail where I thought I would be. I thought I'd be dope sick in jail, and no one wants to be dope sick in jail. When you're sick in jail, people will mess with you because you're desperate and you're vulnerable and you're too sick to even defend yourself. Never get. The only way you ever see someone who's sick have energy is if they're trying to go get more pills, or if someone takes your pills from you, like your parents or something. They don't understand that they're putting themselves in a situation where you don't know what you're going to do to get those pills back. You don't know if you're going to hurt someone to get the pills from them, if they're not giving you back, or if they're threatening to take your pills and flush them, or done. I would recommend never get in the way of a drug addict and his problem and his pills and his drugs, because they can kill. They will kill for it. Because you are taking something away from them that makes them feel like they're going to die. So if they don't get it, they feel like they're going to die. So an animal struggles when it's captured. And animals run when they're hunted. And people become animals. We break down to survival skills. And what do I really need? And most of the time it's pills. And no one wants to think they're addicted. No one wants to think they're a junkie. But the quicker you accept it, could lead to your ultimate death. Thinking it's okay. Yeah, well, I am a junkie. Sucks.